Hey everyone, Stock here, and on today's video, this video is going to talk about the movement I first created for the Doordash July 31st Day of Rest, and a YouTube commenter on yesterday's video told me about this, and I said I'd look into it. So it's starting to get a little bit of media attention, and this is what this whole thing was about. Getting noticed in the media so that we can have the court of public opinion weigh on this, so that everyone knows what drivers go through. So, as July 31st comes, right, it's going to be here tomorrow. Here's the link to the article, to the Vice article that commenter told me about. And here's the person right here. This is how I found out about this. He told me, did you see the Vice article on the 31st Day of Rest? And I said, no, I didn't. Kind of check that out. So I checked it out this morning, and this is why I'm making the video. So here's my opinion on this. First of all, when I created this Day of Rest a little over 2 weeks ago, it was because a YouTuber named Brandy that I happened to see come up on my feed literally was saying that she's tired of DoorDash, and with all their antics, their games, and lowering of pay, and now they took car away, she said she was quitting. And she wasn't the only one that stated that. Other GameTubers, other commenters were literally stating that they're either going to put DoorDash on the back burner or just quit outright. So it prompted me to take a stand, and I quit, last week as well in response to all this nonsense. This is just ridiculous. Because as independent contractors, we have the right to know full information in order for making a decision. We're not employees. They can't control what we see and what we don't see. If we were W-2, they would be in the right. But since we're 1099, we are considered business owners. Just like truck drivers that take haul freight across the country, guess what? They get full information. And if they don't, they won't take it. Why are we any different? How would you like it if you were an independent contractor truck driver that had a client say, we want you to haul 2 tons of freight, 2,000 miles, and we're only going to offer you $500, but you'll have the potential to get $2,000. They'll say hell no to that. Why? Because they're assuming all the risk. It's a gamble. Fuel isn't cheap for diesel. They have to pay for their gas, or fuel, I should say diesel. They have to pay for their expenses like maintenance and wear and tear on their trucks. Why are drivers thinking any differently on this? Okay? As independent contractors, if we don't know how much we're actually going to make, why would, in God's name, would you gamble on taking not just long-distance orders, but short-distance orders? Nug said it best yesterday on his video. Those drivers that take short-distance $2, $2.50 orders, even if you take 4 an hour, you're clowns. He literally said that. He even put a graphic of a clown. Okay? You're making $10 an hour at that point, and you're wasting gas for peanuts. Literally. You're hoping for a tip that's not going to 99% come from under $5. Extra tip. If at all. So why do it? So anyway, I started this movement because someone had to take a stand. And I was hoping the majority of drivers would join me. I was hoping that the majority of GigTubers would join me. I was wrong. The level of fractional discontent, being divided as the driver community is, it's no wonder DoorDash gets away with everything they get away with. We can't even agree on taking a single day off from one app. And I stated from the very beginning, not all gig apps, just DoorDash. Take a day off from DoorDash. Work the other apps. And the level of comments that retorted to that. Well, if you're going to take a day off, I'm going to work and make even more money. Okay, you greedy bastard. Work against your own self-interests. Go ahead. We're trying to make things better, and you're trying to not make it work. Okay, fine. Another one is saying that, hey, it's my only app, and I need that money. I'm struggling out here. Well, as other GigTubers said it, work other apps. And if you don't, at least have them in your back pocket for situations when DoorDash is slow, or if they're terrible in their treatment of drivers. I mean, you can work other apps. You don't have to be loyal to just one. Okay? Other people say it'll never work because you don't have the majority. Well, with that level of thinking, sure. But as other people have said, it only takes one person to enact change and to start a movement. Other people are saying, well, it needs to be political. They have to get politics. Lawyers and politicians have to get involved. I fully agree with that. But it's an uphill battle in red states over blue states, because red states are pro-business, blue states are supposedly pro-worker. So it depends on where you live, if they'll even listen to you. So the fact remains is this, okay? I'm just going to read a couple of paragraphs here, okay? I fully encourage you to read the rest, because I'm trying to do this for time's sake. So, no dasher equals no deliveries. DoorDash drivers strike for tip transparency. I never used the word strike. I said day of rest. On July 31st, some DoorDash drivers will refuse to work on the app to protest low wages, remember talking about wages, and DoorDash's decision to cut out a third-party app that allowed them to see their tips. Well, I've always said it before, we need to see full pay transparency regardless of PARA. It should have been just native to the app. So on July 31st, gig workers on the food delivery app DoorDash will refuse to work for the day, what appears to be the first coordinated strike, day of rest, in DoorDash history. Gig workers are demanding that the platform show them their tips before they agree to deliver an order, yes, and has instituted a base pay of at least $4.50 per order. No, I never said that. Base pay is the amount of the drivers earn on an order before tips. Thanks to the recent pay cuts, many drivers earn as little as $2 before tips. No dasher equals no deliveries equals massive loss for DoorDash, a post about the strike circulating on Reddit says. See, this is the problem. They, I hate to say it, bastardized my original intent for the day of rest. It just kind of evolved on its own because, you know, we aren't an organized entity. We can't form unions. We're all independent contractors all across the country, and it just took on a life of its own, and it loses its meaning at that point. So, here's the thing. This is what DoorDash, I just scrolled all the way down, okay? DoorDash is proud to provide flexible, low-barrier earning opportunities for dashers while helping restaurants grow their businesses. On average, nationally, dashers work fewer than 4 hours a week and earn over $25 an hour while they're on a delivery, including 100% of their tips, a spokeswoman for DoorDash told Motherboard in response to news of the strike. Yeah, if you believe that. I mean, it might be $25 in certain parts of the country, but it sure as hell isn't in my part of the country. But anyway. Across the board, the gig economy is notorious for using black box algorithms that keep crucial information about wages, tips, and other orders hidden from gig workers, often to the disadvantage of workers. Under DoorDash's current model, workers have no way to know whether an order has 50 cents or a $50 tip attached, even though DoorDash is aware when it assigns that order. So they know how much the tip is, they just won't show it, right? So, drivers say this creates hardship because the vast majority of their earnings comes from tips, and they're often forced to gamble that orders that require driving 20 miles will have a worthwhile tip. Accepting an order without knowing the tip beforehand can result in negative earnings after accounting for the cost of gas, drivers say. Many customers literally tip pennies or nothing at all. So, I'm just going to end it with this. You guys can read the full article, okay? Here's the problem, and I did a video about this doing it as a DoorDash customer, ordered from Chili's and whatnot, right? What DoorDash is doing is intuitive, counterproductive, right? Their philosophy is hide as much information and force the drivers to take as many orders that way. That is completely the wrong way to do it, especially with a business model that is destined to fail. I say that meaning when your wages are directly subsidized by the customer tips by over 60% of your total wage for that order, that is a business model that will fail. Because you can't rely on customers tipping well or if at all. So that means we're relying on a measly base pay, gambling on tips that you refuse to show. All in the hopes that we will take every order. Why do you think cherry picking exists? Because it's not a fair pay model for drivers, especially on long distance, trips. So when I was a Doordash customer, I did that video. I put $20 as a tip for that driver, and only a top dasher would take that offer. 25 minutes of waiting, and finally someone took it. And I found out it was a top dasher that took it. Because hell, they take everything, right? So here's the deal. When I, as a customer, want fast service, I tip more. But if you hide that tip, Doordash, I'm just like any other customer that it only shows $11 on the screen going 7 miles to the driver. Instead, after the delivery, he got $23. So, literally speaking, you hid $12 of my $20 tip, and I had to wait near 50 minutes to get my order from Chili's. So, are you disincentivizing good tippers to get faster service? And are you catering to the lower tippers or no tippers, which is, in my opinion, probably about 35 to 40% of your client base? Is that what you're trying to do? Because as I said before in many comments, you're basically punishing no tippers because you're punishing good tippers and rewarding no tippers because guess what? You get your service fees regardless, so you can care less about the customer, and you definitely sure as hell aren't caring about the driver. Is this what your business model has become? Just all about service fees and no care in the world about nothing else except yourselves and your stockholders. That's pretty much it. So anyway, this is the reason I made this video, to illustrate that my vision of unity was either bastardized or it was ridiculed by people that say nothing will ever change. Well, if we all took that stance, nothing will ever change. So you can have half the community on one side, half on the other side, but nothing will ever change if no one takes a stand. So if you like this video, please comment, like, and subscribe below. And don't forget that I am a philanthropy channel that provides information that helps drivers help themselves now. I'm not doing tips and tricks videos anymore because, as I said in my prior video, they're just going to nerf whatever tip or trick that we use to game the system. They're going to nerf it. They're going to basically, remove that ability until we come up with a different way, and then they're going to nerf that. So what is literally the point? So take care, folks. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you all